What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Double A Hef here. I do want to give a quick shout out to all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers, everyone that's been riding with me, rocking with me since the beginning. I do notice it, obviously, and it means a lot to me. But with that being said, I'm gonna get back in. Well, I'm gonna get into this video, which is gonna be I'm gonna create a series. The last one I did was called "Lose Control, Lose Your Life," and that was obviously featuring the Micaiah Bryant quote unquote incident that happened in Columbus, Ohio. And now I do believe that title to be very, relevant and pertinent. So I'm going to make that a series. The series is going to be called Lose Control, Lose Your Life. And obviously, I'm going to take different stories and stuff like that and illustrate to all y'all the importance of control and the many different faces that it wears. So, for instance, in this video, if you may or may not have heard about it, it didn't get that much coverage, not to my knowledge, but I came across it. So, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Very briefly, there was an incident that happened in Florida at Dunkin' Donuts with a quote unquote young black dude and a quote unquote older white man. Long story short, you lose control, lose your life. I'm going to play this video and I'm going to chime in, obviously. But before I even do that, I want you guys to keep in mind that losing control, because a lot of times when people think of losing control, you think about, maybe like a tantrum, maybe like throwing shit or just, spazzing out, cursing, saying things that you don't mean, stuff like that. And also, what you need to keep in mind is that when you lose control, you give control over yourself to someone else. So not only do you lose control, lose your life, you lose control, you lose power. You have no power. No power. You're powerless. And then not only do you lose power, you actually relinquish the power to whoever the person is that caused you to get in that state. So obviously that's a super no-no, especially for the quote-unquote black man, because it's hard enough to acquire power as it is with all the distractions out here that we have, whether it be from the mainstream media, whether it be from people in your own quote-unquote community or in your own home. There's a lot of obstacles out there trying to, derail us, quote unquote, black men. So we have to obviously stay the course and be able to identify situations like this when they occur. Because again, they're not all going to be cookie cutter, like the same exact. There's going to be different ways it's going to show up. So we have to remain diligent and stay true to form. Okay, so I'm gonna play this video and then I'm gonna chime in.
Reaction to a racial slur has turned deadly, and now a Tampa Dunkin' Donuts employee is facing charges. Police say the fast food worker punched a 77-year-old man after he directed a number of those slurs at the employee.
All right, so let's just stop right there. So obviously, I don't know what slurs they're talking about. I didn't read the police report, so I don't even know if it's even mentioned in there, but I'm sure it would be. But let's just assume that the slurs was the N-word, right? So let's just assume that it was the N-word. So obviously, if you read the police report, it wasn't that. Don't jump in the comments saying, "Oh, it was it." Like, dude, like, please, okay. Let's just assume it was the N-word. Look, now I know how I was raised growing up, and I'm sure a lot of quote unquote black guys out there were raised the same way I was, because obviously the numbers say that most grew up in a single parent household, and it was like a matriarch. So I was taught growing up, you don't take shit from nobody. Pretty much, you don't take shit from nobody. And then especially when it comes to that racist stuff, that like there's zero tolerance for that. Zero tolerance for that. We don't stand for it. We don't go for it. If there's anything that we don't stand for or go for, it's stuff along those lines. So, I've found myself in situations growing up where I would get into fights with kids, mainly when I moved to Jersey, obviously, because growing up in Brooklyn, like there wasn't no quote unquote white people around. So mainly when I moved to Jersey, I had probably like 2 fights. I don't even want to call them fights. It was just me like fucking somebody up on 2 different occasions for getting crazy. But anyway, I digress. But then obviously when you grow up and you mature, you understand that like I was grateful, not I'm lucky that nothing ever happened. That charges weren't pressed on me and I wasn't arrested with assault charges for doing all that. You know what I mean? Luckily for me, those kids never tried to go and pursue that. They just took their ass whooping and kept it pushing. But obviously, a kid could have went home and told the parent, and the parent could have wanted to go that route. So again, luckily for me, I didn't have to but I didn't have to deal with that or have that experience. But that can happen. I'm sure that there's many people, many brothers out there that are in juvie or whatever because something like that just happened to them and they beat somebody up, and the next thing you know, they're getting charges pressed on them for that. And they're probably looking around like, oh, what the hell? This is what I was taught to do. This is what I was raised. Well, you know what? A lot of us are taught to do the wrong thing and raised the wrong way. So obviously, a lot of my videos are here to kind of, rewire the way we think and perceive things, and also the way we react to things. Because if someone is to call you the N-word, right? And obviously that person, let's just say that person is a quote unquote white person, an emotional reaction would be to, knock that motherfucker out. But obviously, we can't have emotional reactions. All right. Emotional reactions can cost you. Obviously, you lose control, lose your life. So it can cost you your life. So obviously, we want to have rational reactions. Okay. So if today someone called me the N-word or any kind of racial slur a couple times, you know what? Honestly, my response is going to be, in my mind, I'm going to say, well, first and foremost, I know. See, I know some things that maybe this brother didn't know. And if he was privy to the information that I know, if he was subscribed to this YouTube channel, maybe he wouldn't have did what he did. But I know for a fact that any quote unquote white person that's going to sit there and try to call me the N-word, I know that the majority of white people that you see around you, and I'm talking to all y'all that's listening, the majority of quote unquote white people that y'all see around you are white trash. And they never came close to ever owning a slave in their life, nor did any of their ancestors. Okay, I'm going to say that again. The quote-unquote white people that you see around you that will call you the N-word or whatever the case may be and try to, slave this and all that other shit that they try to throw out. The ones that drive the big pickup trucks and, the don't tread on me shit, all of them, look, white trash. And I'm not just saying that because, like, oh, be the bigger man. No, I'm being dead serious. White trash. And they never came close to owning a slave in their life. No one in their lineage has ever come close to owning a slave in their life. How do I know that, you say? Slavery, the plantations, all that, that was huge business. You guys don't understand the money that was being made. You don't understand. Want to know why? Because the narratives that's taught every February don't go into all of that. That was huge business. Why? Well, obviously because you're getting free labor. But yeah, it was huge business. So anyone that owned a slave after that, 9 times out of 10, they still had money. So they're not going to be living in the communities with a lot of quote unquote black people. They're not going to be close enough to you to call you the quote unquote N-word. That's just a reality. Okay? So those people did not come from that. All right. A lot of these quote unquote Europeans, white people that we see over here, they came obviously from Europe, and they came as, like trying to work their way up. They were like literally, you gotta understand something. The white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, that's like the quote unquote white. Unless you were that, then you weren't looked at on the same level. So, if these are Italians, these Germans, these Spaniards, whatever, they weren't looked at the same way. So they were they were treated less than. And I'm not saying that they were treated as bad as slaves, quote unquote African-American slaves, because in some instances they weren't. But obviously we all know that quote unquote blacks had slaves as well. And I don't want to go too far into all of that, but I'm trying to just, paint this picture. The people that you see, that you see in your day-to-day, those people, they did not own slaves. They probably worked on plantations as well, depending on how long their family been over here. So if they want to start calling you the N-word, listen, they're ignorant as fuck. and they're white trash. So it shouldn't offend you. It shouldn't bother you at all. Because not for nothing, unless you could like literally track your family's lineage back to slavery, then you shouldn't have any kind of emotional ties to that. Because again, a lot of us don't come directly from slaves. Now that's the narrative that's pushed, but that's just not true. It's not true. There were many quote unquote freed blacks. There were many blacks that were already here that were freed. There were many that came from Europe that were free, came as free men. Okay? So that's just the reality. Again, things like that are good to know and important to know. One, because it's the truth. Two, if you know that, then obviously you won't have a super emotional response to some old quote unquote white man calling you the N-word. You know? You'll just fucking like laugh that shit the fuck off. And that's pretty much exactly my response nowadays. And obviously, when I was younger, I would, handle it the only way I knew how. But, I think it's Matthew in the Bible says, when I was a child, I did childish things. And now I am not. So I put away the childish ways or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's how it has to be, That's how it has to be. If you were as lucky as me to not have to deal with anything crazy, doing that stuff at a young age, now you've grown up and you understand better and you'll have to perform better.
3 days later, the elderly man has died.
And that's another thing. That's why we also shouldn't be getting into fights all willy-nilly. And don't get me wrong, like I have a quick fuse. I'm not going to lie. That's something that I work on daily. I have a quick fuse. I go from 0 to 100 like real fast. I'm ready. Like I'm always ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready right now for someone just to say some crazy shit. Because it's just the way I was brought up. And growing up in Brooklyn, like you really, you don't let nobody slide off. You know what I'm saying? Or try to get a quick one on you or nothing like that. Because every little thing is looked at. Through a microscope, and then obviously you have the whole block on you, shit like that. So nothing gets by. Okay, so obviously that's something I'm working on. But another reason why you shouldn't be out there fighting, because you might knock a nigga out, and that might have been just what you wanted to do, just knock this nigga smooth the fuck out, right, and be on your way. But the nigga fall, hit his head wrong, whatever the case may be, brain swelling, all this shit can happen, and now the nigga's dead. Now you took a body, whether you wanted to or not, you took the body, and now you're gonna have to do the time. And at the end of the day, you did take a body, so you're gonna have to, go through the Lord with that one, to go through the Most High. So obviously, like unless you are in a situation where it's life or death and you are being threatened, physically harmed, or whatever, or a loved one, then yeah, obviously you got to do what the fuck you got to do. But if it's just like some nonsense, like someone calling you the N-word, or maybe someone just bumped into you, or whatever case may be, you gotta understand, just let shit go. Don't harbor all of that. And I'm not saying be no fucking pacifist ass pussy. I'm saying be a man. All right. You don't see men doing things like that. Men conduct themselves in manly ways. So we have to be better. All right. We all want to run around calling ourselves men, but ain't nobody willing to put the work in to be a man.
Punched a 77-year-old man after he directed a number of those slurs at the employee. 3 days later, the elderly man has died. And Fox 13's Catherine Hawley is live in Tampa with more on the story. Catherine.
Corey Pujols is in jail tonight, charged with aggravated manslaughter. Tampa police say one punch caused that customer to fall and hit his head on the concrete floor.
Not that nigga smooth. She said one punch. He deboed that nigga.
Dying from his...
And I'm not laughing at the deceased, but I mean, shit is what it is, right?
Injuries just days later. Everything started last Tuesday.
And also, obviously, lose control, lose your life. This brother obviously didn't, quote unquote, lose his life, but he took a life, and then he's going to be looking at some jail time. So theoretically, he has lost his life. So that's lose control, lose your life. And also the quote unquote white man, that nigga lost control, and he lost his life as well. So this is a double entendre. Okay, this is double. Lose control, lose your life. It's that simple. Now, at the end of the day, does it all add up? Like, oh well, did the person deserve to die like that? That doesn't matter, bro. That's not how life works. Okay, life works like this. Limit yourself from being in situations like that by not losing control. Stay in control. Maintain your power. Real simple. Real simple. Again, had this brother been a subscriber to my YouTube channel or anyone else that was actually speaking some truth, then would he have done that? I would like to think no. And then he would not have to go to jail. He would have just fucking, handled it a whole different way and just, laughed it off. Like, man, if you don't get your old ass out of my face, you know what I'm saying? Or just have someone else handle it. Or just tell a nigga, hey, just call corporate, whatever. But that's it. You get out of my face, man. You know what I'm saying? But no, unfortunately, he didn't. And I'm going to attribute that to lack of guidance. Or obviously he has mental issues, but again, I don't know. That hasn't been released yet.
Around 1:30 p.m. in the drive-thru of this Dunkin on South 50th Street. Tampa police say a 77-year-old customer was upset over the lack of service he was receiving.
The victim parks the car.
So I don't even know how much service you're supposed to be getting at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. Like, what the fuck does this nigga think this is? The lack of service.
Goes inside and has an argument with the employee. Well, at that time, there was a racial slur that was thrown out at the employee.
Also, I know there's going to be a lot of people, especially a lot of black people out there like, oh, yeah, man, yeah, shit, I would knock his ass out too. Or so, oh, man, double A half, you talking some nonsense, man. All this shit. Wait, I want to see y'all niggas' names on this brother's books. I do. I want to see what y'all putting on his books, please. Because I know for a fact, and that's a huge problem with our quote unquote people. And there's gonna be a lot of y'all motherfuckers out there like, oh yeah, I would have did the same thing. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, man, whoop his old white ass. All this is dumbass shit. You know what I'm saying? You would have did the same thing, but you're not in jail. You did the same thing, but I don't see you putting money on his books. So send me the receipts so I can see your name, your money on his books. Because if not, then shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. Fucking stupid ass niggas. We'll talk about y'all want to talk about. I did a 3-part series on who the real sellouts are. Niggas like that. Those are the real fucking sellouts. Talking all this crazy buck wild shit ain't about nothing. Fucking bunch of losers and shit. And y'all better not be in my comments with that bullshit either. Because I'm not gonna deal with that nonsense, man. I'm just gonna have y'all fucking block. Because I'm gonna have to fucking put y'all names all up in the next video. Because I'm really getting sick and tired of that shit. Oh, real nigga, this. If you don't shut the fuck up.
And the employee told the victim to say it one more time.
That employee was 20.
And that's some hood shit. I've been there too. Say it one more time. Touch me again. Do it again. Do it one more time. That's some real hood shit. Obviously, anyone from the hood, y'all know exactly where that's at. You know what I'm saying? And then the nigga do it one more time or say it one more time, and that's it. No words, right? So yeah, I definitely understand where he was at with that. But again, man, we got to do better. Hopefully, this is why I always say, if you see value in my videos, share these shits. Share these shits, man. It could save someone's fucking life. It could have saved the white dude's life, whether you care about him or not. And it damn sure could have saved this brother's life, man. We got to share it. We can't just, harbor things for ourselves. If there's value in it, share it. Get it out there, man, because this is a damn shame. Say it one more time. You know what I'm saying? Like, what, the first time wasn't enough? You heard what he said the first time. I mean, again, I get it. I grew up like that too. But that's my point. If you had a problem with it the first time you said it, you should have did something about it. But you didn't. So you gave that nigga a chance to fucking seal his fate and your fate.
7-year-old Corey Pujols. According to arrest paperwork, when the elderly man repeated the same racial slur, Pujols punched him once in the face.
The suspect ended up punching the victim so hard that he fell back, hit his head on the ground. And so
that nigga said, swear you can. That nigga went Super Saiyan on that nigga. I don't mean to laugh at the deceased, but that nigga. Oh my God. I wonder why they didn't release the footage, because I know if it happened inside the Dunkin' Donuts, there's footage of it, man.
When we arrived, he was unconscious and bleeding from the head to where he had to be taken to the hospital.
Court documents say the man was rushed to the intensive care unit at TGH, being treated for head and brain injuries. He never regained consciousness, passing away Friday. A doctor told officers the man had a skull fracture and brain contusions.
This customer was a regular. He apparently came by that Dunkin' Donuts a lot.
Pujols told investigators the elderly man was being extremely rude that day. Police writing in the report, at no time did the decedent place his hands on the defendant or attempt to strike the defendant. Pujols was initially charged with battery that was upgraded to aggravated manslaughter after the 77-year-old died. And Pujols is set to be in court for that new charge this Thursday. Kelly.
All right, Catherine Hawley reporting for us tonight.
And that's it, y'all. It's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate what happened. But again, lose control, lose your life. Please, again, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Save a life. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of, you know, you might listen to this video and say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's common sense. You get it. But you'll be surprised. You'd be amazed at the amount of people, especially quote unquote black people, that shit like this is just fucking foreign to them. All right. And those are the ones we got to wake up and help. Not all of them will be woken up and helped, because some of them just need to fucking, they will just lead themselves to fucking destruction. That's just the way it's going to be. But the ones that we got to tap them motherfuckers out. All right. Until next time, y'all. Peace.